Hey everybody, this is Story Dude. I'm here once again to read you some of the best stories making the rounds of the internet today. Without further ado, let's see what people are talking about. Am I the a-hole for walking out of an event when my fiancée introduced me as a bookkeeper? I, 45-year-old female, have a fiancé, male, 55, who is a retired military officer. I own a successful company I started 7 years ago and have a small staff of 25. I worked my way through college, paying as I went. Therefore, I graduated in my early 30s with a double major in accounting and business management. I am very proud of that. For a little background, I worked hard for my degrees and have zero debt. I know it took me longer than typical student going full-time to college after high school, but I worked full-time to pay as I took classes. I went to junior college first, then finished at a 4-year. I took 2 classes per semester for a long time, but I finally made it. I have been teased that junior college isn't the same as going 4 years at a major university. Well, I am proud of what I've done, and I received an excellent education at my junior college. I worked as an accountant for some large corporations, as well as in programming and IT. I started my company doing similar support to large and small companies alike. I have a wonderful staff. I manage the contracts, kickoff meetings, sales, and consulting staff. I also do some of the consulting and most of the sales and contracts. My sister is my office manager, and I have been blessed in so many ways to have her. I was dating my now fiancé before I started my company, and we recently got engaged. Everything seemed to be perfect, except he keeps introducing me as a bookkeeper. No disrespect intended to them or to the profession. My issue is that I have worked hard to get where I am. I am an accountant, graduate with a double major, and a successful business owner. He could pick almost any other title to introduce me as, but he chooses bookkeeper. I have asked him many times in private to stop calling me a bookkeeper, as it implies to my clients and business associates that he doesn't respect me or what I have accomplished. He said he doesn't see the big deal or the difference and continues to do so. I recently pulled him aside and asked him to just introduce me as a consultant at the event we were going to. While there, we were talking to a prospective client for my company, and he says she has come a long way for a bookkeeper. Man, some of these guys are incorrigible. I think I'm having deja vu because we had a recent video where some other husband or partner was refusing to introduce his wife as, what was it? A marine biologist. Yes, she was a marine biologist, and he insisted on introducing her to people as a tour guide in an aquarium. I mean, you can't make this stuff up. This is wild. I know my face has a full blush at that, excused myself and walked away. We had both driven there, so I got in my car and went home. We both own our own townhomes. I sent him a text to let him know I was leaving and would talk to him later. He thinks I'm overreacting. My family thinks he is a controlling ass that doesn't respect me or women. I'm not sure what to think now. He seemed so supportive when we are together, but now when we are around other people, he tends to treat me like a subordinate, a nice kid, playing with adults. He does talk down in front of my family, but I always assumed he was joking badly. So, am I the a-hole for leaving and overreacting? No, I mean, I think as in this, other story that I'm discussing about the aquarium and marine biologist, I mean, clearly, if you have a job and your partner refuses to acknowledge that or to introduce you, even if it's a joke that's played out and it's totally not acceptable. So, OP, you are not the a-hole, and your fiance is just out of control. So, not the a-hole. This man is effing military. He understands what titles are and why they matter, and he is doing this on purpose. ETA. My family thinks he is a controlling ass that doesn't respect me or women. If you love and respect the opinions of your family in other circumstances, and you can trust them to have your best interests at heart, then why should you always listen when they have things like this, when they say things like this to you? In the end, you get to make your own choices, but when you have a loving family, the chances of them saying this without meaning it are really slim. The people who love us can see what we can't and want what is best for us. And to add on to that, you have to realize how difficult it must be for your family members to actually say this to you. I mean, they have to suffer in silence for a long time before getting the nerve to say, look, I know you love this guy, but he's a total D bag or whatever. So I think that's another reason, like when a family or friend tells you something like this, that, you know, they probably have been thinking about it for a long time, and it's probably coming from a place of good intentions. Not the a-hole. He was never joking. He's just an a-hole that likes putting you down. Couldn't agree more. She has come a long way for a bookkeeper. That is what's called a backhanded compliment. It sounds nice enough if you don't think about it, but its whole purpose is to knock you down a peg and make sure you don't believe in yourself more than you believe in him. You are definitely not the a-hole. You've attempted healthy communication multiple times, and he continues to refer to you in a way that's belittling and disrespectful of all you've accomplished. He can no longer play the clueless card. You've made it very clear how this is affecting you. I think your family is right. Not the a-hole. He's a retired military officer. Start referring to him well below his rank and incorrectly state which branch he was in. If he kicks up a fuss, just state it's not a big deal and you don't know why he's upset. Now, that's a great idea, great comment. Yeah, refer to him as, this is private so-and-so. Yeah, that would totally piss him off. Yeah, I'm having a lot of fun imagining that. But anyway, let's get back to reading here. But really, what you have accomplished is impressive. Just like moving up the ranks in the military is impressive. If you can't respect that and acknowledge your hard work and success, I really think you should reconsider marrying the man. A relationship should have some amount of respect on behalf of both parties, and he's not showing you any. Not the a-hole, you are underreacting. For sure. All right, let's see what the next one's all about. Am I the a-hole for wanting to rehome our 3 cats my wife is attached to? Now, based on the title alone, I'm thinking you are probably the a-hole, but, I always love reading how the story will introduce some facts that make me reconsider what seems to be a pretty clear-cut case. So let's dig right in. My 28-year-old wife and I have been together for 3 years and married for 1. And prior to us being together, she was very anti-pets, zero interest. I had always wanted a cat. We talked, and with heavy persuasion from me, ended up getting a Bengal from a breeder. She turned out to be very skittish, so we got her a Bengal sibling to maybe help. Neither of them are super cuddly, so we added a calico who is. All of these were joint decisions. Wife feeds them, I do the litter box, water, meds, and Google solutions to any problems coming up. We just bought a house, and I do most of the cleaning, vacuuming, dusting, tubs, laundry, etc. This was the case when I worked, but more so since I've been unemployed for 4 months. I felt discontent with the cats since we moved because I have to clean constantly to stay on top of the shed hair, the food mess, the litter tracked everywhere. They randomly throw up on rugs and pooped on the hardwood floor. Vet visit showed nothing wrong. They've ripped out the bottoms of the new sofa set and scratched up the other. My wife frets about the cats being sad when we go out of town, even though my sister watches them for free each time. All in all, I'm over them and want to rehome them responsibly. The first alone and the last 2 together. I've mentioned it before and was met with sadness and resentment for bringing them into our lives, her getting attached to them, and now me wanting them gone. She felt I was being flaky, and I said I struggle with commitment, so I walked it back with the condition that wife would do more cleaning up after them. I have not seen that happen. I understand how it would hurt my wife to give them up, but all I see are upsides with less mess, more money in the budget, more space with their cat stuff gone. Am I the a-hole for prioritizing these things over her joy and love for these cats? Edit. Took out costs I initially put in along with interventions to illustrate the decision wasn't being made lightly. Well, OP, I totally understand where you're coming from, but if I read correctly, I think you were the one who insisted on getting these cats in the first place. And so you're not really in a position to walk back if your wife loves these cats. I mean, it's not like having kids, but it's a little bit like having, if you have kids and then you realize how difficult it is, you're like, oh, I want to give them up for adoption. It doesn't work like that. You know, you've made a commitment, and I think you got to stay with it. But let's see what the community is, is saying about this. All in all, I'm over them. Effing wow. Don't ever have kids. You fought for those kitties. You're the a-hole. Okay, yeah, and this first guy agrees with me. Yeah, OP is a little nuts. You're the a-hole. The fact that you list the prices of the cats is weird as hell. But onto the actual question. You made a poor decision to get 3 cats as a first-time cat owner, but they are actual living beings, and you pledge to care for them for their lives. You are capable of doing so, and your wife loves them, so you should make good on what you signed up for. Bringing them into your home required both of you to be on board, and so would getting rid of them. I mean, I believe the OP is an a-hole, but let's take a step back and realize that he resents these cats, doesn't want to care for them. Is this a happy home for the cats? Would it maybe be better if they were rehomed into a place where they could actually be loved and cared for correctly? Because I think we can't assume that OP is gonna, cats live for 15, 20 years. Is he really gonna care for these cats nicely? I'm worried about the cats, is what I'm trying to say. And even though the OP is an a-hole and doesn't deserve to get out of this, maybe it's in the cat's best interest to find a better home. Anyway, rant over. Let's get back to the comments. You're the a-hole. Pets are for life. You can't give them up because you're over them and can't be bothered to commit to the care they come with. Plus, you heavily persuaded your wife. You can't just change your mind. You're the a-hole. You were the one who wanted the cats, and now she is attached to them. You want to get rid of them? Nothing puts me off more than someone who gets a pet and then gets rid of it. But 3? Pets are a lifelong commitment. Don't get pets if you're going to get rid of them, even to a good home. Now they are attached to you, to your wife, and each other, and you just want to get rid of them and possibly separate them. That is wrong, in my opinion. You're the a-hole for several reasons. Let's start with the fact that you invested $2,000 in cats. There are thousands of free cats out there that desperately need homes. You couldn't be bothered with those. You not only insisted on having a cat, but you insisted on having 3 cats. Then your wife becomes attached to said cats, and you decide you want to backtrack on your commitment to have these cats. Yeah, it's definitely you. Yeah, I just remember the fact that he didn't just get normal cats. He got Bengals, which are like, they're not really even cats. Like, for those of you who know, I mean, they're like little lynxes. They're awesome, but they are definitely way more work and way more expensive than a normal cat. So I don't know what the OP was thinking here. But this goes back to my previous point. I mean, if you're not up to the task for, taking care of these high needs cats, I mean, they might be better off somewhere else. Just saying, I don't condone the OP's actions, but I'm really trying to think of it from the cat's perspective. All right, well, that's been it for me. I appreciate you all stopping by here on our little Story Dude channel. Working hard to bring you the best of entertainment and discussions about morality, ethics, and love. So on that note, y'all take care, and I'll catch you on the next episode. Peace out.